Health is life. Your health matters. You matter. Health begins in the spirit and the mind. Take time to love you. Live well. Be well.
Yeah, let's go!
Health matters to me.
Come on, get up, cause you tuned into the station for your morning motivation to get your education for your health and your spiritual needs.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, strong will to empower the people, to promote the peace, though. Positive attitudes, baby, that's a lifelong dream goal.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, health matters and we're here to help you become a better you, to be the best you, the best version you can be.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, and it's time for this classic, fantastic food for your soul. Here's Jackie and Coach Patrick right here. Let's go.
Health matters to me.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Health Matters. This is Jackie.
And Coach Patrick.
And you're listening to us right here on the Voice of the Gospel True Shout 94.7 FM WAAW.
And this is another beautiful day the Lord has made.
We're going to rejoice and choose to rejoice and be glad in it, right?
That's right, because we just got rejoicing for Christmas Day and enjoying family and friends and food. So we had a good time for Christmas. We hope you guys had a great Christmas holiday and that you spent with family and friends and eating some good food.
Yes, and we can go into another year.
Yes, we are.
Yes,
A brand new year.
It's grateful that we made it through a whole year, and I just want to shout out happy anniversary to Robert and Deborah McDaniel.
Happy anniversary, Rob and D.
42 years of marriage. Happy
42.
anniversary.
That's
And,
awesome.
and those are out there celebrating, but I just wanted to highlight that this morning. But yes, 2026. Coach, wow.
Brand new year.
What do this
Where
year
did the year
hold?
go?
Where did it go? Hey,
Where did 25 go?
where did I know, right? It went fast. It really did. It went
really
fast.
did.
Yes. So,
It
guys,
seems like the more mature you get, I would say older, but I know you don't like that word, but it seems like the more mature you get, the faster time goes. I tell
right,
you.
right. So we got a
Doesn't
wonderful
wait for nobody.
show this morning. As
we do.
always,
Yes, we do.
our sponsor, Dr. Dan Jolich
He'll
of
be
Aiken
with us.
Chiropractic. So he'll be with us. So I
That's
think we
right.
got a couple of announcements before we
Most definitely.
get started bringing Dr. Dan on.
Yeah, because we are in the last weekend of December, so we want to make sure we capture those birthdays. Happy birthday for everyone that celebrated birthdays for the month of December. And as Jackie already stated, happy anniversary to everyone that's celebrating an anniversary in this month of December. We want to acknowledge our sponsor, Dr. Dan Jolich of Aiken Chiropractic. When your spine is aligned, your body is too. Aiken Chiropractic is located at 425 Lawrence Street, Northwest in Aiken, South Carolina. Their number is 803-641-9191. Their website is www.aikenchiropractic.com. If you would like to be a sponsor, partner, or friend of the broadcast, you can call 706-592-8862. We'd love for you to help us do what we do in the community and over the airways weekly on Saturdays at 8 a.m. So, Jackie, like you said, brand new year. We're leaving 25 behind. We're shifting into another year, 2026. Looking forward to it. We don't know what the year holds, but we know we'll be blessed in it, so we
Amen.
can look forward
Yes.
to what God has in store for us for this year.
And asking him for the
2026.
grace
That's
to
right.
be able to do what we need to do to sustain
Navigate through
and
it.
navigate through.
That's right.
We got a lot going on in our administration
Mm-hmm.
and in our system. And so we just want to pray and keep our leaders
Right.
in
Prayed up.
prayer that, they make better decisions
Right.
and good decisions.
And we have to
concerning
pray for
the
them. Like you
people.
say, we have to pray
Yes.
for our leaders.
Absolutely.
It's imperative that we do that. Pray for
Yes.
them, pray for their families, because we do want them to lead us to quiet and peaceable lives.
Amen.
As the word tells us to do. All right, Jackie.
All right, guys. Further ado, we have once a month our sponsor, Dr. Dan Jolich, coming on, and so we always know he brings wealth of knowledge and education to us pertaining to our health and well-being. Without further ado, we're going to bring on Dr. Dan Jolich of Aiken Chiropractic.
Hey, Dr. Dan.
Hey everybody, how you guys doing?
Good, sir.
Good. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah.
We hope you had a good Christmas.
Well, it's good. Everything's been fine, you know. Hopefully, it'll be a good start to the next year. I hope. I'm always an optimist. I always hope next year is better, you know, than the one before.
Right.
Yes.
But it really is up to us, you know. If you do the right thing, you know,
You're right.
hopefully everything works out. And I would like to say, you know, we should take personal responsibility for things as well. You
Yes.
know, there's things that you can't really control. I mean, there's, you know, people there running this country on a high level. I'm never going to meet those people. So, you know, I can vote, but that's about all I can do.
That's
But
right.
there's a lot of things we can do personally on a local level. And that's what we need to be doing, you know?
Amen, Dr.
Yeah,
Dan.
we need to help each other. We need to really, you know, do the best we can for our community. And that's really what it's all about. So, you know, some stuff we'll see on TV. Whatever happens, happens. But, you know, hopefully good. But local stuff we can influence for sure. And that's why I'm here. I like to help people. I like to give them some good food for thought and give them some idea and give them some stuff they can use in their daily lives and just maybe change the way they think a little bit about stuff, especially health, you know?
Most
Amen.
definitely, most
Yes.
definitely. So, Dr. Dan, I tell you, bring all different type of subjects. You brought
Yeah,
different people on with you. That is, I mean, we talk about everything. So,
yeah, we do.
what we talking about today, Doctor?
Well, I was thinking. I actually thought about different topic, but then recently, I actually had a little meeting or lunch with, you know, Mr. Everett Chandler. You know, the Chandler Law Firm. He's one
Yes,
of the
yes,
main attorneys here, and you know about him and everything. And
yes,
anyway, he's awesome, I think. So, you
yes,
know, I
yes,
was
yes.
just thinking about it. Yeah, and I was just thinking, well, why don't we just touch up on that personal injury subject for a second? Because there's a lot to talk about there as well. And it's not just personal injury. There's a lot to consider there, you know,
And
and just kind
chiropractic
of,
plays a part in that.
yeah, it just kind of makes me think about it. So I was gonna give you some statistics about why it's such a big deal and why should we talk about it and be aware of it. What I was able to find out, this is what it says. It's pretty amazing. It says, um, you know, in 2023, the number of fatalities in United States was close to 41,000.
Wow.
Wow. I
Wow.
mean,
Wow.
almost like 40,901 people were reported died in auto accidents in this country. So, you know, when you talk about driving a car, 41,000 of us have perished in 2023. I don't
Mm.
know 2024 later, but that was the statistics that I was able to find. Um, However, it was also 5.1 million got injured in 2023, and that's from
Wow.
NHTCA, you know, the statistics. So anyway, 5.1 million. Wow, that's just huge, you know.
That is huge. That's a huge
So,
number.
you know, and then you know, they say that economic impact of those injuries on our society or healthcare in general, the cost of this exceeded 340 billion in just
Wow.
2023.
Wow.
Just just so you
One,
know, it is
that's one
huge.
year. My
Yeah.
goodness.
So fatality rates recently in 2024 have actually gone down, even though they were increasing before that. But that's pretty big numbers right there. So, you know, what are the major causes? Well, number one cause is the driver error. Over 90% of any kind of car accident in this country involved a mistake caused by distracted driving. So it could be, you know, speeding, alcohol, drugs, also not wearing the seat belts, even though you think you people should wear that by now, not everybody does, and being distracted, most likely cell phone use, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there you go. 90% of that could be really eliminated. I mean, this is when people, oh, it's, you know, I think the way we think about these things, we should actually change the term. You know, when you talk about auto accident, accident implies, you know, accident, so something happens accidentally, it implies that it's out of our control. Okay, something happened, like you walking down the sidewalk and the branch falls off and hits you on the head. Well, you didn't know that was going to happen. I mean, that's like an accident. But over 90% of these things is from the drivers causing these. In other words, I don't think it's really an accident. I mean, it's just predictable. and basically that can be alleviated. It's a human cause. It's a, we can stop this, or we can reduce it greatly if people just pay more attention. But we don't. So it starts with being aware. Awareness is a big deal.
Hmm.
So what are the most common injuries? Okay, number one is what we call whiplash. Number one,
Hmm.
and that involves your head, your neck. So that happens. Typical accident is when you're driving, let's say around our area. Typical, the one I see in the office as well. Somebody stops at the traffic light or the turn signal, or stop sign or what have you, and the person behind him doesn't pay attention, and boom, rams in the back with him. That's
Hmm.
like 90+% of the cases. There's a lot of different ways, but this is like the most common. I mean, this can be avoided. I mean, somebody hits you in the back, they're looking at you. I mean, they're looking at you. What are they doing? Gotta
That's,
be the cell phone. I mean, that's gotta be the most common thing. So,
that's
that can be limited. But once you get hit like that, your head tends to kind of jerk like this, goes forward and back really fast in a split second. That causes a bunch of injuries
mm,
to your soft tissue, the supporting tissue to the spine, and all of those are termed, whiplash type injuries. And of course, the head and brain injuries are also very, very common. Concussions are common. Sprain and strain, which is a soft tissue injury to ligaments and tendons, extremely common. And then sometimes you get fractures as well. So who are the groups of people that are a little bit more maybe vulnerable to be hurt in the accident? Well, according to statistics, is males.
wow.
Males die in our country at a higher rate, and they claim it's because of riskier behaviors. In other words, males are just a little bit more likely to be speeding or something. And so, they do stuff you're not supposed to do, and they seem to also be more injured in general. That's just statistics.
Hmm.
So it's pretty sad. All of this is from NHTSA, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. There's other stuff as well, like IIHC, which is Insurance Institute of Highway Safety, NSC, National Safety Council, and CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention. They keep data on all this stuff, and that's where I'm, finding this stuff.
Hmm.
Now, here's a crazy statistic as well. What percentage of car accidents cause injury? Like, okay, there's all these car accidents every year, but how many of us are actually injured when something happens? Alrighty, so here's the statistics on that. At least one person injured, being a driver or the passenger, is in 43% of all car crashes. So 43% of time, somebody's injured.
Hmm.
I mean, so in 2020, the statistics was 6,252 per day.
Wow.
Hmm.
Per
That's a
day,
lot.
Wow.
or you can actually say 4 per minute. Every minute of this year, I mean, this was in 2020, so it might be a different figure for last year, but they're a little, behind in these figures because they have to calculate it. But anyway, 4 per minute the whole year.
Yeah. And
It's
Dr. Dan, as technology increases, that number probably is gonna raise even more.
I
All
mean,
those
it's horrible.
cars.
Yeah, you would think our cars should be safer and all that stuff, and cars probably are safer. It's just us as users, we're just getting worse. We're too distracted, too many electronic devices that are just taking our attention away. We
Right.
really, really need to stay away from them. I actually watched a video just the other day, kind of got me thinking, and they talked about when did this digital displays in the car became so common.
Right.
And some years ago, they were not that common. I mean, and then at one point, I think it was in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, government changed some laws, and government tries to make things better, but there's some unintended, side effects. So, for
Right.
instance, in 2016, I believe it became mandatory to have rear view reverse camera. So
Mhm.
when you put a car in the reverse and you're backing up, there has to be like a screen in your car since that year to show you what's behind you. So that seems safer. I have rear view cameras in my vehicles. I think it's awesome.
Mhm.
But since the government started demanding that, basically at that year, you had to have cars with digital screens in it. So
Right.
the manufacturers started thinking, well, if I have to put a view behind me on the camera when people are backing up. Why don't I use their screen and put infotainment center as well there and do Bluetooth? And so they
Mhm.
put all that.
Yeah.
So that's why it became more and more common. And now you got cars that have humongous screens in there. I
Yeah.
mean, some cars have like, more than 10 inches. I mean, they got screens bigger than the tablets that I use for, surfing the
I-
web. And you in the car. I mean, how is that not distracting?
It's like
It
a
is,
rolling office.
yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous, and it's almost like it's very difficult to stay safe because you have all those things. You go buy a new car, and the screens are just getting bigger and bigger, and there's usually more than one now.
Mhm.
So we're interested. We want to kind of be entertained. I mean, driving can be boring sometimes. Just sitting in the highway for a while, and you start looking at stuff, and that's how these accidents happen. So here's another really scary statistic. It says, what are the odds of us getting in a car accident, like you, me, everybody else? Here's the numbers, and this is again from, this was published on June 24th of 2025. It
Mm.
says the odds of, lifetime odds of actually getting, in a bad car accident is 1 in 95.
No.
1 in 95. Well, that ain't that's a serious. I mean, that's huge odds. I mean,
Hmm.
that's
It
pretty
is.
big. So that means they also say car industry estimates that the average driver will claim collision on their file. So it will be insurance industry that keeps this statistics roughly once every 17.9 years. So that
Mm.
means every person in this country will experience probably 3 to 4 accidents in their lifetime.
Wow.
Let
Mm.
it sink in for a moment. So if you didn't have 3 to 4 accidents yet, chances are you might, it's horrible. I mean, I've been in accidents. I've been in
I
more
had
than
two.
one.
I had
Yeah.
two. Yeah.
We're here to talk about it. We're alive,
Yeah.
but a lot of people get really injured. So how crazy is that? Okay.
Crazy.
So I just think it's just insane when you look at the statistics and they're still doing all these crazy designs. And then another thing I was interested, I looked it up. I'm like, what are the most cars, like what kind of car causes most accidents in this country? So here's a list. They have a list of this, the most deadliest car models in United States, and this was in 2022, so it might be a little different now, but who knows. Number one, and this kind of goes together with what people are purchasing as well, but the most deadliest car you can drive is Ford F Series pickup truck.
Wow.
Ford
Wow.
F-150 or whatever.
Right.
They're involved in the most accidents, probably
Right.
because there's a lot of them out there, but still, Ford F Series number one. Number two is Chevy Silverado. Number three is Dodge Ram, and I had three of those.
Mm.
And then number four is Honda Accord. I guess it's because these cars are very common, so they get in a lot of accidents. But
So
that
it's
also means,
three trucks and one car.
yeah,
Have the
yeah,
same.
it's
Okay.
It's just crazy. So if you drive one of those cars, you're more likely to be in an accident.
Wow.
I mean, it's just crazy. And then, not every accident is, of course, fatal. I mean, a lot of them are not. We said almost 41,000 people die, but, over 5 million gets injured. I mean, so, statistically, how many of these are what they consider fender bender, which can also hurt people quite a bit?
Mhm.
Well, they say those minor car collisions or fender benders or rear end kind of little collisions are extremely common from the insurance industry statistics. They say that nearly every driver will experience this over their lifetime, and statistics show that little fender benders occur 1.7 million rear end fender benders every year.
Mm.
Just those.
Mhm.
So crazy stuff.
Wow.
And why is this occurring? Well, distraction, number one. They think insurance keeps this kind of statistics. They say around 87% of the time is because the driver wasn't paying attention, most often due to the cell phone.
Right.
Number two is low speed and stop and go traffic. Those
Mm.
are pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Thank God I don't have to experience those a whole lot because I live in Aiken. So, when I lived in Atlanta, you were in this bad traffic like daily,
That's right.
and that's why I left. That's why I left. And I'm at the point where Even if, I have to use Atlanta Airport, I won't drive there anymore. I really don't. I'm going to take a shuttle. They offer those shuttles from Augusta to Atlanta Airport. I'll just pay somebody and go in the shuttle, or I can just get a connecting flight from either Augusta or Columbia. I am not driving in the Atlanta traffic. I am done.
Oh,
That's
I
it.
agree with you,
I
Dr. Dan.
feel you on
I
that
It
can't
one.
do
is.
it.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
terrible.
I'm getting really aggravated with this stuff. It's to the point it's just ridiculous,
And it's stressful. It's so stressful, when you're in
extremely.
that traffic like that and the way people drive.
Extremely,
Mhm.
extremely. So, I just wanted to talk about this kind of statistics so people will put their stuff in perspective. And
Right.
then when you talk about, I said males in general are more prone to being injured because they do a little bit more crazier driving than female in general. That's their statistic. But what age group is the most, prone to accidents? Well, there's no surprise here. Teenagers, and specifically ages 16 to 19.
Mm,
They cause most car accidents per mile driven, and they think it's because of inexperience and also risky behavior. They
mhm,
like to speed. However, older adults over 70 also have increased risks because probably their reflexes and everything has slowed down over the
mhm,
years and
yeah,
they just don't, respond as fast.
right.
So, that's why the insurance rates go up for people that are older. I have patients sometimes tell me, man, I haven't had an accident like in 30, 40 years and I turned over 70, my insurance went up. And I was like, how? I have nothing. Like they say, well, now you're more risk because you're older. Like they just
Mhm,
tried to get you anywhere. Yeah, I mean, it's money, but statistically speaking, they're right. I mean, you
right,
got to watch yourself. So
right.
it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So, those are some things to ponder either way, which I think is interesting.
It
Um,
is very
so,
interesting. Very interesting.
put it in perspective. So what do we need to do? Okay, we need to be really careful. Leave all this electronics aside. It's easier for me to say, or probably you guys as well, because we didn't really grow up with the cell phones. But the young generations that you can't pry them from the cell phone. I mean, you can't pry them away from this thing. They come to my office to get treated, and they're clutching their cell phone in their hand while they're laying down on the table for me to treat them. It is insane. I literally have to take it from the hand and say, "Hey, put this on the chair over here. It's not going anywhere because I don't want it to fall down and you break it." I mean, because I put around my in my treating rooms around these adjusting tables. There is carpeting around them to kind of cushion and be good for me to stand there. Also looks pretty, but also I did it because people drop stuff all the time, and if
Mhm,
I had like a hardwood floor, they're gonna crack the screen and then they're gonna yell at me because it's somehow my fault that they didn't leave it somewhere. Well,
right,
so that way I cushion so it falls down, but it doesn't crack. But
mhm,
I still tell them like put it aside. It's
right.
are you a president? I mean, do you need to be on the call all the time? Like,
It's an
it is
addiction.
ridiculous.
Yeah, but
Huh?
like you say, doctor, that's
It's
how
an
they grew up.
addiction. I
They
mean,
grew
It's
up
it's
with that
just
addiction.
stuff. Yeah, and
it's,
they
it,
think
it
it's a
really is an
necessity.
addiction. You think about it, it's that constant
Yeah,
scrolling. It's like
yeah.
what you call it, Dr. Dan, that dopamine.
Yes,
You
dopamine.
know?
Well, I want to keep that for the maybe next time we talk. I was going to talk about
Yes, yes.
negative effects of cell phone technology on our health, and
Yeah,
there's actually a lot to talk about that.
yeah.
But since I just, saw Mr. Chandler, I'm just thinking about this, personal injury stuff because that's really his arena, and I treat people with that quite a bit every year. And I was just thinking, like, wow, let's just talk about how bad this stuff is.
Yeah, but talk
And
about that too, Dr. Dan, how
Mhm.
chiropractic care, can be crucial, for that recovery. You know,
Absolutely.
you
So
know,
what happens is, when people get in this car accident, I would have to say, first of all, you need to get checked, okay? You might want to go seek medical help. Even if you don't have any obvious, injuries, there could be internal stuff. It's important to get checked. Concussion, is not visible on the outside. If go to the if you don't want to go to a hospital, at least walk in one of these medical walk-in, urgency centers, and just go to a medical place and say, "Hey, I was just in a car accident. I don't know, yesterday or whatever, and I just want to get checked. Let them look at you, let them take some, X-rays or whatever they want to do, take some vitals, whatever they want to do, and make sure everything is, okay. But keep in mind, you go to those places, okay? Their goal is, so what is the goal in the ER or the urgent walk-in time? The goal for that is for you not to die. That's the goal. Their treatment plan is they want you to live, So if you're not in like a bad shape, like you're not having like a, broken bones, you don't have like bleeding on the eyes, nothing obvious like that. You should still get checked, but they're going to just release you. They're going to just say, okay, you're fine. You don't have any broken bones if they take x-rays and all, which is important to check. But they're going to let you go. And then you can go to somebody like us because we will treat you. We will, make sure your body recovers. We will heal you. They don't do that. They just patch you up and out the door. But it is an important step. It's important to make sure there's nothing, serious going on. Once that's done, call somebody like us and come and get properly treated. We look at things. We do physical examination, which is very detailed. We ask a lot of questions about your history, what happened during the accident, so I can see the mechanism of injury. And then we do our own X-rays. We do, vital signs. We do orthopedic tests, neurological tests. We do all those things, range of motion, just kind of come up with the diagnoses. And there's usually quite a few diagnoses, not just one. And then we go ahead and, come up with a treatment plan and start treating somebody. I think it's important to actually heal. If you don't go through the proper healing process, you will get chronic problems later on. So it's important to attack this thing right from the beginning and start treating it. We do things naturally. It doesn't hurt or anything like that. Typically, on the x-rays, you can identify areas, especially the neck, lower back as well, but definitely the neck area, that the bones in your spine called vertebrae have misaligned. They have been shifted in different directions, and that happens in an instant in this accident. And the reason why it happens so easily, the deep muscles in the back of our neck that support our spine and spinal column, well, they do not resist kind of like a pretty fast kind of motion. So when you are sitting in a car and somebody kind of bumps into you, that can cause a lot of problems. It's a split second, but we don't have the muscles or ligaments that can resist that. So, that causes injury, and we need to kind of address that. Part of my care is I also think this should be, it is a, standard of care, meaning if you don't do this, you're getting substandard care. This should be included for everybody that was injured in the car accident. Besides the proper physical examination, including radiological study, you should consider getting MRI study done, and that's where we determine what. Usually the neck and lower back. We call this cervical and lumbar area. Very often, almost like every patient, not every, but very close to every patient, they find some problems. They find disc herniations. They find some interspinous edema and concussion in the spine. That's in a report. I just read it. That comes from radiologists. It's pretty amazing how easy our body is to injure. We are very easily injured, and so, our body is very fragile. So if you don't go ahead and treat those things right away, you don't really, first you're going to find out what's wrong with you. And all those things, have to be done improperly, so we come up with a good picture of what's happening. And then you treat them. And, things that I do physical therapy modalities, which decreases the swelling, inflammation, and we can help with the muscle sprain and ligament strain and all that. But there's certain things that I don't do. If somebody has herniated discs are little devices that cushion between the bones in your spine. They can be injured. They can actually shift a little bit, and they can measure how much these little discs have actually moved, and they can shift and go backwards. And then the question is, are they actually rubbing onto something they're not supposed to be touching? And notably, that will be the spinal cord and spinal nerves, and they're looking at that, and that will be all in the report. So if somebody ends up having disc herniations in the neck and back, they're actually touching things they're not supposed to be touching, well, that's considered permanent. Let me say that again. Disc injury is considered permanent, okay? Wow. So, you can't move the disc. Once the disc is gone, you can't move it. I can realign the bones. I can put those in there, but you cannot move the disc. So
Mm.
what I do with those, there are treatments though. So what I do for those patients, once I see they have those conditions, I recommend and I refer them out to orthopedic specialists, and they do these injections. They do this, shots that they do in there, which isn't really something you want to do, but if you need it, you got to do it. If you don't do it, you'll
Right.
deal with this later. It will be even
Right.
bigger problem. So initially, maybe it's some injections, but later on, if you ignore it, it might be surgery. So I think that beats surgery. Do the small issue first. But that's how that's treated. So the disc, like I said, stays injured, but they do these other treatments to heal area around the disc, and make sure the cells they have died off or been, tissue cells they have gone during this accident get rebuilt. There are treatments where you grow new cells and stuff like that. So that goes beyond this little speech we're doing here. But those are the kind of things that we consider. So I work with other professionals to have like a full picture. I do chiropractic care and physical therapy modalities. Then the other professionals do their things that I don't do. But if you combine all those, patient will heal the best way possible. And so got to do those things. Otherwise, you're going to deal with them later on in life. Things are going to, haunt you down. They're going to get worse. Once the disc is gone and it's rubbing into the, nerves or the spinal cord, it never gets off of it by itself. It won't. It's just going to get worse over time. And, a person may not really feel that right away. There's a lot of reasons why you can't really go by symptoms. You might not feel as bad as it really is. Your body releases endorphins. You don't feel it right away. But trust me, over time, it's going to come and get you. Things are going to get, and if you wait, 2, 3, 4 years, and you have this injury, it becomes chronic. That is a lot worse to fix than acute injury.
I'm
That's why
glad
we
you
like,
said that, Dr.
yeah.
Dan, because some people will be in accidents and they won't even go and get no treatment or a good scene after the accident.
Well, let me talk about it for a second. Okay, let's get off of the subject of actual injury, but let's talk about people that feel they are okay. Okay, so here's what I would say about it. First of all, are you a doctor? I would venture to say most people are not. And even if they are doctors, do you have access to all these tools, diagnostic tools, and all these tests that we do and other professionals do? I'm sure you do not. So really, you should get tested. And doctors know they go on their own and they go get tested by themselves. So really, why not get tested? Okay,
Right.
if you just go by the way you feel, that is very misleading, because you're not going to feel all this stuff right away, and certain injuries you cannot feel at all. For instance, we do not have nerve endings inside of our body in our arteries or our veins or in certain other structures. You just can't feel that. You can feel the muscle strain or whatever, but you can't feel, if the artery is being compressed because your bones in the spine have shifted and it's now doing a little king there. You're not going to feel that. There's just no way to feel that. But it causes, tensions, and over time the artery can get calcific, and then you have bigger problems. So, you shouldn't really base it on the way you're feeling. Symptoms are very misleading. In fact, when we do the treatments, and of course I do my own notes and professional record of what we do, we don't focus on, as much on, how people feel, because that is a subjective finding.
Right.
Subjective. And everybody feels things differently. It's difficult to quantify that. However, we look at objective findings. So X-ray study is objective. MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, is objective. In other words, any doctor that looks at those pictures will see the same thing. It's reproducible, right? That's why it's subjective. Some of the orthopedic tests we do, that's subjective. Range of motion, you can turn your head this way, certain number of degrees, that's normal. That's subjective. Those are a lot of things are objective, and that's what we try to focus on, because you really shouldn't go by subjective. Pain is subjective. So I do make a note of pain in my notes, because I make a note of everything. But when it comes to diagnosis and everything, I try to diagnose things that are objective, not subjective, because that's really misleading, and that's really what insurance requires. They know that. They know that's subjective, so they don't really care. So let's just go ahead and get it out of the way. So people should be checked, not because they feel or don't feel something. They should go because they were just involved in a car accident. Go get checked. And why wouldn't you? Everybody has insurance. We're supposed to have car insurance. You should not be on the road if you don't have car insurance. So in theory, we all should have a car insurance. Now, what we should also do, and of course I do it, and a lot of people that I know a treat do as well. You should always have uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage on your insurance. What that does, it protects you in case somebody hits you that doesn't have insurance or doesn't have enough insurance.
Right.
Every state has the minimum that you're supposed to have, unless things have changed. In South Carolina, minimum used to be 25,000 a year for liability. 25,000, if you see how much things cost today, is nothing. I mean, that's not really, it should be raised, but I think that's still the case. So, you can be hit by somebody and they have 25 grand and that goes by, poof. I mean, just one visit in the ER can cost you 30, 40 grand, just that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so,
Medical expenses.
that's nothing. So you really need to have your own coverage, which is what I call uninsured, underinsured, and that doesn't cost a lot of money. That's actually very affordable. And so you have that to protect yourself in case somebody hits you that has no insurance or not enough insurance. So if we assume we all have that, then why wouldn't you go get checked? Because the insurance pays for these things. Insurance is supposed to cover anything related to the accident. So if you're the victim, somebody causes, an accident, hits you, their insurance will cover you. Your insurance doesn't go up. I mean, let's not forget, if there's a police involved, they come up, they make a police report. Insurance companies are going to get a copy of that. They will be aware that you were involved in the car accident. Why not go and get checked? I mean, that's just the minimum, and you're not paying for it. And the insurance company that you use, they're not gonna raise your premium because of that. They might raise it because everything gets expensive every year, but that's not because of this, because you're the victim. That's what the insurance is for. So if somebody else is paying for you, why are you being stupid and not getting checked? I mean, I'm just saying, it's like,
Yeah,
Right. Make it make sense, right?
right.
Yeah.
And
got to do it. I mean, it's just silly not to get checked. That's what it's for. All
Right.
you're doing, if you don't do that, you're just saving money to insurance company and
right.
somebody, some claims adjuster that is working on your case, because there will be a claims adjuster, and you don't use the insurance, they're gonna get bonus on their pay because they save money for the company. Why would you do that? That's really silly. Do the way it's designed to do. Go use their money and get checked. Okay, like they don't give you the money; they pay, they pay them differently, but still, that's what they cover. So, I would get checked. I would make sure I'm okay, and then if I'm not okay, which typically you're not, you're gonna need some treatments, and let the insurance pay for all those treatments, and they do. If you go to a proper provider like myself or other people that do this properly, we keep excellent notes and excellent diagnosis and everything, and then all of that gets submitted one day to the insurance at fault, and they would cover all this stuff. Like, you don't have to pay anything, and a lot of people hire attorneys around here, and I think that's a good thing to do as well, because hey, insurance companies are in business to make money. They're not in business to pay your stuff. So
Mhm.
they're gonna fight you. They got all kinds of teams of attorneys working for them. You should have an attorney working for you, and I think that's just normal. If I got in a car accident, God forbid, but if I get in a car accident tomorrow, I'm hiring somebody, and then somebody's going to be Chandler. But
And
I'm
you know
just
what?
saying,
I know.
That's a good segue into this question I got for you, Dr. Dan, because
uh-huh,
like you say, the treatment is important because you
yes,
also want to have that essential documentation as evidence,
yes.
that links those injuries to that accident, just in case, there's some legal challenges or some legal issues that you have to, you know.
Absolutely. You have to have it all. All of their stuff needs to fit in like pieces in a puzzle.
Yes,
So
sir.
when we see a person, their complaints, the findings from the preliminary examination, the X-ray report, all of that stuff, it makes sense. If somebody says my
Mhm.
neck hurts here, and I take an X-ray and I see the bones there kind of shifted like this in that part of their neck where they say it's hurting, it makes sense. That's what I'm going to diagnose. But it has to make sense, because otherwise somebody's lying. So we got to go and make sure all that, and it has to be based on facts, and those are the facts. So we don't do something that doesn't exist. We do exactly what's going on. But the ultimate truth is we are very easy to injure, and there is millions of accidents every year. It is insane. And our area is getting busier. If you can see, the traffic here has gone way up since I moved here 22 years ago. And
Yes.
it's insane now. It is, I honestly, to avoid getting in the car accident myself, I avoid certain roads around where I live. I literally do. And I drive a pickup truck. Why? I have a Honda Ridgeline right now. I do that because the vehicle's bigger and I kind of stand out more. But I still in the truck when I drive around. I think about just like when I'm riding a motorcycle, although I would not ride a motorcycle around town. I go out in the country when it's empty. But over here, man, when I go to work or I go somewhere, I skip certain roads. I try not to be on Whiskey Road. I try not to be on Pine Log, and I try not to be on Silver Bluff. Those are the roads in Aiken. I skip like there is no tomorrow. Same thing in Augusta.
Yeah,
I
Silver
don't
Bluff
go on
is
Washington Road.
bad.
Yeah, Washington Road, I don't go on. And I have
You're
two
right,
clinics
Dr.
on
Dan. I
Washington Road.
agree with you. I try to go around it as much as
Yeah,
possible.
Especially at
yeah.
certain times.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have two clinics on Washington Road, and I avoid it. I avoid it. I just get on it as close as I can to my clinics. But I don't drive on Washington Road very often because it's so busy, and there's some other roads like that as well. So, those are the kind of rules I have. So what you need to do is be aware of your surroundings. Look at the rear view mirror. See what person behind you is doing. Are they paying attention? Are they following too closely? If
Yeah.
you're driving on the regular road around here and you see the traffic light is about to change, well, don't slam on the brakes the last second because you're not giving enough time for people behind you to react. They might slam in the back of you. And that's probably part of the reason why that happens. I drive nice and easy. I see the light changing. I actually hit my brake once. I let it go. I hit it again. I do it like 2 or 3 times
You want people to
because what
see
it
it.
does, yeah, it flashes the brake light at him.
Right.
And studies have shown when we see a steady light versus animated light, our brain records the animated one better than the one that's steady. So, that animation kind of registers in the brain more. So I actually pump the brake a few times so they see that I'm stopping. And then I don't stop abruptly. I just kind of gently stop. I give myself more time to stop. So they got time behind me to, slow down as well. And if I see that the person behind me is still not paying attention, man, I'm going to go and figure out where I'm going to go to turn so they don't hit me,
Out the way. That's right.
I mean, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Don't park too close to the car in front of you. Give yourself some room in case you need to go left or right and pass them. I mean,
There you
I
go.
don't know. I don't know if you remember this, but when I was in driving school a long time ago, now this was really a long time ago, but they told us when you stop somewhere like at a traffic light or stop sign and there's a car in front of you, you're supposed to give yourself a full car length between them. So
Right.
if you need to go
You
past
take
them,
off.
you don't need to back up. You can just turn around and pass them.
There
I
you go.
remember like he was yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. And people now, they stop. If they can go in your trunk, they'll go in your trunk for some reason. I
Yes.
don't know what the deal is with that, but
Riding on your
yeah,
back
You,
and
you know
stop.
what I do, Dr. Dan? If I got a tailgater and
yeah,
I make sure I'll make room for me and him if I'm behind another car.
that's right.
I'll
That's
get
right.
double, triple
Yeah,
car space between me and the car in front of me. That way, if
I,
that car in front of me has to stop, I'll make sure I give my time more than enough
that's it.
time to stop so that guy that's tailgating me won't ram me in the back.
That's what I would suggest too. That's what I do. I keep extra space, and I'm sorry, but we gotta be more proactive, and that's
Yes.
how it is.
Yeah.
And it can be so so aggressive. So many people on the road are very aggressive. I don't know what the deal is with being so aggressive. I have people pass me. It's like 35 miles an hour speed zone. They pass me going 60,
Yeah.
just so I catch up to them at the next light, and just down the road, here they are right in front of
Right.
me. Did
That
I get
happened
them
to me
anywhere?
this morning, Dr.
Yeah.
Dan. I'm like, this lady kept, I'm like, why are you going 70 something and the speed limit is 55? I'm
Hmm.
already doing 58. I mean, what are you doing? And we
Yeah.
end up at the same stop sign or
Mhm.
what are you running? What are you
I
doing?
I have no idea. Maybe they just robbed a bank or something. But it's a psychology, I guess, and
I guess
so
so.
I actually, honestly, to be honest with you, this is what I think it is. I think it's a lack of education. It is very easy to get a driver's license in United States. compared to other countries in Europe where I'm
I
from.
agree.
There's just a lot less education over here, and I'm appalled with that. I really am. And I don't know why we do that. Why it's almost like driver's license here is almost like a right. It's not a right. You're supposed to earn it, but it's
Right.
so easy, you know. And so people don't have education, and when you don't work hard for something, you don't respect it. You don't respect.
That's
And a
so
lot of
true.
times, I think people are just too relaxed. Well, they shouldn't do that, you know. But it starts with education. So, you know, we're doing this little talks and all this stuff to kind of raise people awareness about stuff. That's really what I have time to do. And you know, but in Europe, it's a lot more difficult. So to get a driver's license where I was born in Serbia, you got to spend 40 hours one-on-one with the instructor from the auto school, like one-on-one, 40 hours minimum. That's minimum.
Mhm.
Here, I don't know, when my kids got drive, I don't think it was 5 or 6 hours. It was some kind of small amount. And I was like, are they going to do this for like 3 or 4 months? Like, no, they're only going to do it for like a month. I'm like, what? That's
Mm.
just not enough. So I paid extra. But the point is, we just don't require that. And then think about people coming from other countries that are worse drivers than we are. I mean, we got a lot of immigrants from maybe Latin America or other countries or other places, Asia. I don't know, where people drive even worse than we are. So they bring those
Right.
habits here too. I'm just saying, should we, as a country, consider making it a little bit more serious? There's more people driving. Shouldn't there be a little bit more studying going on, a little bit more practicing before you even get a license?
I
I don't
Agree.
know. I feel like something needs to change on some level there because it's too easy and there's too many of us, and that's why there's so many accidents. So, I want to be safe. I want my kids to be safe. I want everybody to be safe. But the truth of the matter is, we're just careless, as a society,
yeah.
and we have to change something. It makes no sense that in this country we have probably the best vehicles in the world. Our vehicles are very good, and
Mhm.
we have probably the best roads. I mean, roads are really good here. And for some reason, our statistics, like I mentioned earlier, are appalling. Appalling. I mean, what is happening? Why are we so bad?
Yeah.
So something's got to change. And I think it goes down to education. There's a lack of education. There's a lack of education for colleges and all the other stuff. That's a whole different topic. But how about, having them properly trained to be drivers and not rush the process? I think that would be somewhere to start with.
Well,
That's what I
Dr.
think.
Dan, when I was coming in school, we had driver's
Driver's
education, so
education.
we had to
Yeah.
go through a
And they
driver's
got rid
education.
of it.
Yeah.
So that's what
Yeah. Why
happened.
is that? Why is that? When I was doing the same thing in Europe, I had to take a class, which was in the evening after I finished. I was in high school for a year. This class, it's like a regular class. I had to
Mhm.
go like, I don't know, 3, 4 days a week for a year, and then they give you a test. And
Mhm.
this test had, like, I remember like it was yesterday. It had 50 questions. You could only miss 2 questions. It was only pass and fail. There's no grading.
Mhm.
So if you score, just 47 out of 50, you fail. You have to score 48 or higher to pass. That's how hard that was.
Well,
And then if you pass that test, that you take a class for a year, then you qualify to go with the instructor for those 40 hours one-on-one, and then you can take a test. I
yeah.
mean, it's a whole process. And it's designed to teach people how to drive, and
Mhm.
it costs a lot of money. All of this costs money. And so, when you put all it together, people seem to be respectful, because if you pay, $5,000, $6,000 to get your license through that course, you're thinking about, well, I better be careful. I don't want to lose it. And here it's a lot quicker. It's a lot easier. I don't understand what it is. When I moved to this country, I lived in New York City for a little bit, and I already had a driver's license in Europe. So I figured, okay, I gotta get one here. I'm gonna finish on this. I know we're taking a little too much time probably, but anyway, I went to the DMV in a little town in New York State, and I go there and I ask the lady, I said, well, I just feel like I need to get a driver's license here. And I'm figuring she's going to give me a book or something. I go study for a while and come back so I can schedule, when I'm going to take that test. And she goes, wait here. She comes back 2 minutes later. She goes, computer number 7 or something. I'm like, what? She goes, well, you want to take a test, right? I'm like, well, I didn't study. I just thought I'd just schedule it. She goes, well, you can take it right now. The computer's open. And the worst can happen, if you fail, you wait 2 weeks, you come back and do it again. I was like, oh my God. So I went and I took the test, and the computer, I don't know if every state is like this, but New York State was like this. The computer asks you what language you want to take a test in. And the languages were like, not just English, but it was also like Farsi. It was like Chinese and
Wow.
like French and stuff. There were like 12 languages on it. And I was like appalled. Of course, I did in English, but I'm appalled. I'm taking, I mean, on the signs, the road signs in English, like, how can somebody come here from another country that doesn't speak English, take a test in their language, get a license, and they don't see, they can't read the signs? I mean,
Yeah.
what is going on,
I can relate to that. We spent 7 years in Germany. So, yeah, you got to know what you're looking at, what you're
Yeah.
reading, so you can pay attention.
Now that
to the
test wasn't easy.
Yeah, in Germany, you gotta speak German. In my country, you gotta speak my language. Here, you can speak 12 languages. They don't care. And then I passed the test the first time I took it, and I go back up there. I was stunned, and the lady goes, "You see, I told you can do it." And then she goes, "Now you can, schedule your driving portion." Like, wow, how quick was that? Unbelievable. I am telling you, we have to rethink this stuff. This is too easy. And why not be in English? I mean, everything is in English. So what is the deal with, doing it in, other languages when the signs are not bilingual out there? Everything is in English. So, I mean, unless there's some states where things are in other languages that I'm not aware of, but if it says, school slow down, maybe those people don't understand what that means. They just plow right through it. And I'm just saying, it's like I don't understand the logic. I mean, political correctness is fine, but certain things you have to learn.
Yeah, we
If
have
you
to
move
get
to a country, you need to learn the language of the country. I mean, that seems like basic to
at
me.
least enough to
I
get around if you're gonna
Right.
drive in it. Yeah.
I
Right.
mean, seriously,
I
All right,
agree
so
with
Dr.
you.
Dan, we at that point, and we're gonna have to pump the brakes.
yeah, it's cool.
Good. That's when the
It's
conversation
very
is
good.
good.
I know it's fun.
So we go pump the brakes, come to a stop.
Okay.
Dr. Dan, go ahead and share your last comments with the listening audience.
Okay, well, I just want to say accidents are really getting worse and getting more numerous, and it's costing our economy billions of dollars. We can all be responsible. We can all watch what we do and be a little bit more, pay attention, and reduce the number. Over 90% of this is really our fault, and that can be prevented. If you get in a car accident, and you need a good doctor, call us. We do that as well, and go from there. But I'll be happy to help, and you give our information, Aiken Chiropractic, and on the internet.com, or 803 641-9191, and that kind of stuff. But please be careful. Start the good year right.
Amen. I
Awesome.
agree.
All right, Dr.
Yeah.
Dan, thank you so much for joining
Thank
us
you.
today.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next month. New year, new
Awesome.
month. New year, new month.
New year,
I
new
know.
month. We'll
It's
see you
exciting.
later. Enjoy your
Have,
New
have,
Year.
have fun,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was awesome. How talking about personal injury and how chiropractic care plays an important role in that.
Yes.
Like he said, so many times people are getting in accidents and won't get the proper care that they need, but it is important. And then what chiropractic care, what Dr. Dan provides, can help you tie any injury that you have to that accident, so that you can, be accurate if you have need documentation and have to go to the legal cases. So we want you to stay tuned for the Concerned Ministers Fellowship. You Matter is coming up right after us with Pastor Bush, Saturdays with Sean at 10 a.m. and Midday Motivations with Alicia G at 11 a.m. and Tony D will be up at 6 p.m. We got the many weekly programs that's coming up. Make sure you tune into those programs Monday through Friday. We got some great programs for you. All right.
All right, guys. We'd like to thank you for listening to Help Matters here on Shout 94.7 FM, the voice of the gospel truth. And remember, we're here to help you to become the best you that you can be. And we always like you to show and sow an act of kindness to someone, because you never know when the act of kindness may come back to you. We would like to leave you with 3 John 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prosper. Guys, you have a blessed and wonderful New Year's. We will see you guys in
Next year
in 2026, where we're going to have a great conversation about the New Year's and resetting and resolving resolutions.
Health is life.
See y'all later.
Your health matters. You matter. Health begins in the spirit and the mind. Take time to love you. Live well. Be well.
Yeah, let's go.
Health matters to me.
Come on, get up, cause you tuned into the station for your morning motivation to get your education for your health and your spiritual need.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, strong will to empower the people, to promote the peace, though positive attitude, behavior, that's a lifelong dream goals.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, health matters and we're here to help you become the better you, to be the best you, the best version you can be.
Health matters to me.
Yeah, and it's time for this classic, fantastic food for your soul. Here's Jackie and Coach Patrick right here. Let's go.
Health matters to me.